Um, I'm trained in all psychic skills. I would say that my strength in terms of being able to teach people, which is what I'm all about, would be my ability to sketch energy in the other dimensions. People think that energy is just like all moving around in the other dimensions, but actually, the same way as on the physical dimension, there's structure, there's also structure in the other dimensions. And when I was a child, as I was born into a secret program for developing human potential, which of course includes psychic abilities, superpowers. Um, I worked with military and scientists, and I was a little kid, and they didn't know anything about the other dimensions or anything that had to do with metaphysics, which is the study of first cause. A lot of people call themselves metaphysicians and they're not. You do aromatherapy, you're not a metaphysician. You do Reiki healings, you're not a metaphysician. Metaphysics is first cause, is very different. But anyway, so I had to deal with adult males that were arrogant and were very impatient that they had to work with a child. And they didn't understand a lot of what I said. So I learned as a little kid to sketch what I saw in the other dimensions. So I sketch at the level of which there's structure. And it makes it easy for people to see what it is that's going on and made my life easier because the less angry these aggressive bullying men and scientists and military were, the better my life was. So it's ended up being the best asset that I have. I was trained to be multidimensional. They couldn't go to the other dimensions so that they would throw people like me, children, through fear and through electricity into the other dimensions. And then we had to come back, collect ourselves into one piece, and then tell them what we saw and answer their questions. So interesting because I remember very distinctly that they would say, "This is the questions, and you come back with the answers, and you give us the information in the order of priority." In other words, if you come back with 10 pieces of information, the first piece has to be the most important, then the second, then the third. In other words, we had to even prioritize. And they said, if we ask you a question and we didn't ask you the right question, you have to come back with the answer to the question we should have asked you. Interesting. So I worked under me and all the other kids. I'm talking about me. I can't represent them, and yet, in a sense, I do. And I don't want people to think that I was the only one who went through this living hell. I wasn't. But I need to talk about me because it's not right that I just extend it to everybody. So I learned a lot. And in the other dimensions, guess what, guys? You can't just say, no, 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 no. I just want to see the spirits of the people that actually once had a physical body. Don't you be throwing these spirits at me that never had physical bodies or that have different shapes. Don't you be showing me spirits that come from other planets and look really weird and have weird intention. No, 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 no. I am just going to deal with the spirits of the people that had a physical body, which means their spirits kind of look like us. Now, whatever it is that was there, we bumped into, we had to work with, we got beaten up by, etc. So we were thrown into the other dimensions with basically no training because the people that were throwing other dimensions didn't know a lot about what was going on there. And a lot of times they didn't really believe us. I'm going to go and switch to me. So I am afraid that you are all going to get thrown into a situation, and I'm talking like now, in which you're going to have to deal with a ton of stuff that is not part of your paradigm. It's not part of your belief system. You weren't trained. You're not ready for it. You don't know the protocols. You don't know how to deal with it. And you don't want it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about beings that are not from this planet, that have different intentions, that are not shaped like us, that know how to shapeshift. What's shape shifting mean? Shape shifting means that you can decide you don't want to look like this. You want to look like a peacock. That's a good peacock is great for me now. That's transformation and at a very high level. It's a wonderful symbolism, particularly in Buddhism. So I could look like a peacock. But my core, I was going to say, is a human being. That's not true. Human beings are a liquid nectar that is poured into vessels, containers. That word vessel is used very heavily in spiritual training in Judaism. What it means is that what you're seeing, that form you're seeing, is simply a vessel. And you're going, but that's a person. That's a person. No, that's a being that is poured into a shape, which is like a physical human being. But as you've all heard, witches know how to turn into cats so that they can go visit their enemy and their enemy does not see them because what they're seeing is a cat. You would think that by now all of those witches would have heard what you already know and not allowed a cat anywhere near them. But whatever, I don't know what they do with that. You can turn into anything you want. You can turn into a wall. So I have decided to basically take off all restraints I have. No, 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 no. Handlers, control in Washington. No, 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 no. I'm not going to be talking out of boundaries. No, 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 no. Don't worry. Don't send the sniper. I'm going to basically talk to you and not worry about you shutting down because you don't have any time for that. And if you shut down, you know what? Maybe then you'll run back and look at all my videos because there's going to be something huge happening. Huge. So here we start it up. I don't need a tissue until I start a chat. Okay, and I don't have the scratching until I start a chat. Okay, so what is this all about? I'm really afraid. I looked at the news, obviously on X, because any other place it's monitored, controlled, whitewashed, angled, hidden, and on X it's not. But the news is not good. Why is it not good? Today, I don't know what state the governor said installing. They're instituting, they passed a law, death penalty for sex abuse. Okay. Okay. And in another one, they're suing Pfizer. Pfizer, these are very respectable. Suing Pfizer. I don't know all the other things that were out today as news, all of which are rattling the structures of this country. I told you already about the collapse of the paradigm. Well, collapse of the medical paradigm. Who is going to respect a doctor again? Unless it's somebody that was open and revealed what they really felt during the plague. Not that many of them. What's going to happen to the rest of them? Do you actually think they're going to be able to keep moving forward without the respect? Probably the pay is going to not be able to sustain without the honoring. That's collapse of hierarchy. Collapse of hierarchy. We have a president who very obviously has dementia or Alzheimer's or is cloned or is a robot or all of those things. Collapse of hierarchy. The most important country in the world. There's no doubt but that this is United States is most. You can't walk off a stage. You can't walk up a flight of stairs. Collapse of hierarchy. Who is going to respect this country after that? Collapse of hierarchy having to do with presidents and countries. There is too much that is wrong, that is broken, that wasn't fixed. And I'm not sure it would have ever been able to be fixed. I think we're scheduled for a collapse. Okay, if we're scheduled for a collapse, so let's work with it. I would like to put a direct message to Elon Musk and to Trump. You need to double up on your bodyguards. You need to not be arrogant and think they won't take you down. You need to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself and something happens to either one of you, the rest of us that have put ourselves out there, we cannot take care of ourselves without people a lot more powerful than us standing up and saying no more. But for that, you have to take care of yourselves, Trump and Elon Musk and everybody else that is a couple of echelons lower but is still standing up. You have a responsibility. You gave us permission to lift our heads and say, "Hey, stuff's going on that's not right." And so now you have to stick around for the rest of whatever it is that is going to go on. That means you can't have a secret desire to die because you're too tired, because you spend too much time on your electronic devices, because you don't know that radiation exhausts your immune system. You need to go to nature. You need to go out on boats. You need to go to islands on vacations rather than beautiful big cities with all the radiating devices and all their lives. You can't go to those places. You have to take care of yourselves. You have a responsibility to the rest of us that have put ourselves out there. Yeah, you have a responsibility to yourself too and your family, but more so to the people that have understood, oh my God, there's an opportunity here to make a difference, to say something, to stand up and be counted. To take care of yourself, you need to be primed in terms of vitality. I'm going to show you the map that I did of the United States, and I'm hoping that it's still here, that I did not delete it. Maybe it's this one, I'm not sure. Well, this is the 3rd of June. Lack of will to live and shame in the United States. Fear of lawsuits. Huge spaceship over the United States, and a congestion of fire, anger because of fear of lawsuits having to do with, this was the day after Fauci was in Congress, when everybody kind of knew, oh my God, this is all coming out. The one that I did on the 12th is not up here. The one that I did on the 12th includes a death spiral in the center of the country. The East Coast in the center totally being consumed by fire. Again, an invasion in Maine. Curses on the West Coast. Bad energy on the coast of Texas that is the closest to Florida. You call that the East Coast, I guess. Spaceships. And then you have Florida, which is blue and has blue spaceships protecting Florida, South Florida. Not all Florida, South Florida. What is that all about? I live in South Florida. I did all of that. No, I'm not going to say I did all of that. But I will say one thing that I did do that maybe made a difference. And the only reason I'm saying it is not to make myself look good, but because maybe you should be doing the same thing. In Miami, because of the Cuban mafia, I had to leave my home and stay in a hotel for 30 days. $14,000 later, I was able to move to another hotel because they checked into that hotel. Okay. But it was in downtown Miami. Downtown Miami has a Mayan site that was discovered 30 years ago. And I'm not sure what it was that happened. We have to assume that it was me because I was there 2 times a day with with my dog, trying to figure out what to do with my life if I couldn't get back home. And the Mayan site at the entrance of the River of Miami was stimulated, it was activated, and Miami became protected. But not only that, but at the entrance of the River of Miami, on the other side of the river in downtown Miami, there is a beautiful, really interesting mural that has images of Miami, and it includes spaceships. I think it also includes aliens. And there was a statue that's called the Lady of Miami, which has to do with voodoo. And I believe that inside the base of the statue, there was some type of a ritual anchoring the energy of black magic in Miami. Well, anybody's from Miami would say, oh, that makes sense. Miami is, I don't want to say it's all about black magic, but darn, come on. Can we please do some business, have a friend, have a relationship that black magic is not involved? Give me a break. It's not good. When I was there, it caught fire. A statue caught fire. And the men that were around it, because I was walking my dog in a park, and when I walked by it, I had already walked by it several times. There were several men standing around it, puzzled, and so I said, "What happened?" They said, "Oh, it caught fire. Oh, we don't understand." No more black magic in Miami. No more support. No more. I'm not saying there's no more black magic in Miami, but there was a shift of consciousness in Miami due to the activation of the Mayan site and also the all by itself fire in that statue that was an anchor for voodoo. The person who did the statue, the artist, is from Haiti. And a lot of people in Africa, whatever, black magic is integrated into their life, but it's really not black magic, it's magic. Because I teach magic, white magic. It all has to do with your intentions, but what we usually hear about is black magic, and then the white magic is like, oh, look how interesting, they do this and it cures such and such a thing. That's white magic. So maybe the activation of sacred sites near you can make a huge difference in terms of being protected at this time. Certainly, everything that's in the other dimensions is more important. So now, let's get to the subtitle of this chat today. By the way, this is the way you look. The collective of this group is this. I have never seen the mind streams that short, and I have never seen them curling back in. But I think that's the way most of us are feeling. Like huddled down, hunched over, self-protective. These are supposed to be out. You're supposed to have a canopy that looks like this, which is incredible level of protection, which is the first protection God gave us. We're supposed to look like this. And we look like this. But we're going to do a mantra with the sound therapy, and we're going to get that better. But we're not ready. So my subtitle of today's chat is Permission to Believe. Dumb as a rock? No, I'm not going to say you're dumb as a rock. I'm going to say your protective stances are not working for you. We are in end times, revelations, new cycle, fall of hierarchy. Everybody knows something big is happening. How much more evidence do you need having to do with the aliens? How much more evidence? Well, science and the scientists, even the scientists are saying it. Getting out of their comfort zone, knowing that you're going to ridicule them. But if you still are blocking that, then you're going to you're going to have a really hard time, but it's not just that you're going to have a hard time. You are holding back a process of conciliation, reconciliation, having to do with humans from planet Earth. Because you see, it has been known for centuries that human beings play on planet Earth a game in which we can appear to be each other's enemy when what we're really trying to do is stimulate the person that we're being abusive of or we've done something terrible to wake up. And they're not awake, so we slap them around in whatever way, shape, or form for them to wake up. So you're going to get real slapped around. And if you get frightened enough, nobody's going to be able to wake you up. And you're going to become a big part of the problem. Because human beings are by nature very good people. All of them, including the J6 committee that now is afraid that Trump is going to put them all in jail. What is that all about? Do you know how many things happened before that and that people just allowed it to happen? Do you know how many things had to happen for people to go, wait a second, something's the matter here? That's the whole thing with the whole waking up. It's going to get only worse until you do wake up and you step up to bat and you become a master. But you don't step up to bat and say, no more, you're going in jail, which is what I want Elon Musk and for Trump to remember. You're going to jail. You're bad people. It's why did we need this? Why was it necessary for you to misbehave? What is it that I couldn't see? What did I refuse to see that this needed to happen? This terrible thing needed to happen. Why did I need this? That is when you become a master. And that's what all of us need to become right now, because we have become a galactic planet. We have been supposedly, I hate the words, they sound like so movie. We're now part of the galactic family. What that really means is we no longer have protection. We are going to be living with all the other beings, and we're not going to be coddled and protected like little babies. That's it. It's over. No more protection. So wake up, stand up, but don't go against another human being, because they are not your real enemy. If they did something, they're trying to get you to wake up. The real enemy is off planet, very invisible. It's not all of them. They don't all look the same. They don't all have the same intentions. They don't all come and interfere. There's many different types. Like I tell people, having just to do with the spirits on planet Earth that used to have physical bodies. They'll say, well, what are they like? And it's just like you walk down the streets of Miami. Some people are crazy. Some people are not crazy. Some people, they don't even do anything. They're just walking. You don't even have to pay attention to them. Others try to get in your face to sell you something or to call you on something, whatever. And some are weird. You don't know where they're from. They look very different, or they didn't dress well. Same thing with the spirits. All sorts of spirits. But those are just spirits that have bodies that look like this. Then you have all of those others from all other planets. And then you have the shape-shifting, where they can change shapes in 2 seconds flat. So they look like one thing right now, and then they can look like a drop of water 5 minutes later. So this is a story I was going to tell, and I wasn't going to tell, so I'm going to tell it. What does it matter? There's no more time. How many more people are going to think I'm crazy? Less people than before. So when I lived in Tibet when I was 10, part of my training was to be inside a cave in a mountain. And I do believe it was Mount Kailash. NASA has an installation on top of Mount Kailash in Tibet. Did you know that? I didn't, until I started to look it up after I had the memories. So I was left there. I had already been into all this mental stuff since I was basically born. Okay. So, and I didn't believe this memory when I first retrieved it. I believe it now because it's shape shifting. So I'm stuck there in this cave by myself, and I know it was a woman that used to lower food with a rope. I just didn't see anybody. I don't know how long it was. Was it 7 days? Was it 3 weeks? I have no idea. No points of reference, 0 points of reference in terms of light, dark, nothing, or even food. When I finished being hysterical when they left me there, I remember the first thing I remember thinking was, oh, there's no people here. I'm not going to get raped. I'm not going to get abused. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't say I can do this. I just said, okay, there's some benefit looking for the good. And I really don't remember anything. I don't have any more memories other than when the monks came back to get me, because it was monks that put me there. And I thank them for that, even though at that moment I didn't. When they came back to get me, I wasn't there. It was a cave. I was gone. And they had to sit and wait for me, supposedly 3 days. I don't really know if it was 3 days or if it was 3 hours or whatever, but I simply wasn't there. I had deconstructed myself and I had become part of the mountain. I was safe. We are not these bodies. We are consciousness poured in them. And that consciousness can shapeshift into anything. And I shapeshifted. I'm not sure you can call it shapeshifting. I became part of the mountain and then I returned eventually. And I did not remember that for probably 50 some years. I'm sure that all the electroshock that they gave me to erase my memories has a lot to do with that, not the monks, the military. The monks were very kind. And I'll tell you something, and then we'll get on to you and the mantras. I remember the head monk sitting across from me. I didn't know their language. And I could hear his voice booming in my head, telepathy. And he was saying, we feel really bad for you because we know where you came from and we know where you're going back to. And they were sweet, but I found out later, simply because of a description, what kind of monks they were. They were tantric monks. Oh, sex. No. Tantric monks are compassionate, but they will give you what it is that you need. And if you need to be put in a mountain in order to develop your mind, in order to be really aligned with your mission, which you don't even remember, they are going to help you with that. Not because they're mean, but because that's what you need. The words that were described when I went to a class, tantric monks are compassionate, but no mercy. In other words, if I needed that in order to develop my mind, they were going to give me that with no mercy. I don't know that all of you are not going to be going through something similar in terms of having to deal with stuff that you need because you all need to wake up. It is not a small group of people or 30 figures that are going to be able to take care of this. Why am I saying that? And I'm talking about the ETs. Those ETs are already in your homes. They're already bothering your children at night. They're the reasons why so many kids are autistic. They're the reasons why so many of our kids are literally classified as mentally ill. They're already here inside your home. You don't recognize it because your doctors don't know how to recognize that. So I'm wondering if I dare to say the next little story, and then let's get on to I'm going to say it. There's no time. Who's going to pick me up? The government? I'm not sure that they're not frightened than the rest of you guys because they know a lot. So I took care of 50 some autistic kids in the 90s. That was before I got disappeared for 30 years, literally. And I remember one child I was going to take care of. I had an office at that point where I actually saw human beings in my office. I don't see anybody today. Everything is via email, not even phone calls. And I remember the kid was sitting on a massage table that I had there. I wasn't going to massage him. He was just sitting there, and the parents were sitting in chairs. I was standing in front of the kid, and all of a sudden, an ET showed up, and I didn't really even believe in ETs at that point. And he said, "No, this one is ours." And I was like, "Uh, what? This one is ours," pointing at the kid. So you've been dealing with ETs, aliens, off planet for decades. The planet has been dealing with this for centuries. You continue to insist that mythology is not real, yet you insist that people study it. You continue to believe that people only have two eyes when science says they find eye cells in the middle of the forehead, like the third eye, because it's not convenient for you, because it's scary. Well, you're going to get this pants scared off of you very, very soon. So let's go ahead and try to get you more connected with mastery, which means third eye. We're in Revelations. And if I don't show up tomorrow, it's because of the comment about the ETs or whatever, somebody didn't like it. You know, what can I tell you? I once went to a psychic many, many years ago. Friends of mine were in line, and I said, "Yeah, I want to do that too. Let's see what she has to say." She said, "Listen, I don't know who you are, but you live on the edge of a razor blade." And I laughed and I said, "Darned, isn't that the truth?" I feel that every time I give these chats because there's so much I would like to share, and then I have to make a decision. Is it worth losing my freedom to say this? And then I go, "Nah, they're not going to do anything." I don't know. I don't know where the line is. Actually, I think I really do know where the line is. I don't know. Whatever. So we're going to go ahead and do the mantra, which you repeat in silence. Mantras liberate the mind. Mind creates reality. The part of our mind that is what you really, really need to develop is your third eye. Oh, there's no third eye. Yes, there is. Science found about 30 years ago there are eye cells in the center of the forehead, beyond the eye cells that you have in the two eyes. Okay, come on. This has been known forever. You have the third eye in your dollar bill, and you're talking about conspiracy. Well, continue with that. Well, and who knows what they're trying to do to us with that third eye? Well, maybe they're trying to give your economy wisdom, because the third eye has to do with wisdom and superpowers. Stop accusing people of things when you really don't know what you're talking about. Because what you do is you throw people back in the closet, and they're only going to talk to the people in the closet. Meanwhile, what you have to do is open the doors and say, "Everybody come out here and share everything. Share everything. We need to know. We need to know now. We need to know now. We need to know now." Your children can be taught interspecies communication in under 5 minutes, because I've done that with a zillion kids. 5 minutes. Maybe it would be good that they know interspecies communication. Oh, no. Well, no. Well, how do we know that what they're saying is right? Authorities are not going to be able to help you. So let me quit. Let me quit with that. And I think, okay, this is the mantra for developing the third eye. The reason we don't have our mastery is because we're afraid of it. And then, of course, society says, "Hey, hey, hey." So this is the mantra. You repeat it in silence. I hope I haven't been too sarcastic or too arrogant, because if I wasn't either one of those two things, I would be crying, literally crying. When I see the news, it's good that this stuff is coming out. It's good that people are dealing with it, but they're dealing with it the old way. Bad people, bad person, bad person. Those people were trying to slap us around to wake us up so that we could be solid citizens, accept our dark, accept our light, be solid, so that when the real enemy shows up that's already here, that we can be solid citizens and knocked over so easily. So I don't know what we're going to do about the people that did the wrong stuff to us. I still struggle with that. I still struggle with that. But we can't eat each other up. By the way, the Mayans said that at this time people would turn into cannibalism. Increasingly, I see on X this whole thing about the drinking of people's blood and the adrenal, I don't know what, adrenal, whatever. And the more I think about it, the more it kind of makes sense because it's compatible with what the Mayans said would happen at this point. But we have to understand why they would do that. And it has to do with a transference of energy, but we're not getting into that today. I don't know enough about that. I don't even know how to pronounce the word. Okay, so here we go. The mantra is repeated in silence. You expel the breath through your mouth. We're going to do 10 minutes. And then I'm going to sketch you again, and you're going to be better. Not just because I said so. Maybe because of my power induction and because I want you to be better, but also because you're going to relax with the mantra and with the sound therapy. So go ahead and start. The hands in the Apana Mudra, put the back of your hands on your thighs, okay? Oh, the music is right here. Is it or isn't it? No. Sorry, I don't know how to do that gracefully. This is what you look like when you came in. This is a collective mind map. All of us together equals that. And then this is what you look like now, collectively. This is orange, creativity. The triple protection of the pyramids, like they protected the pharaoh's body in the pyramids. This is that level of protection, multi-dimensional protection. These are your spirit bodies. We all have more than one. And this is a portal. And we're on our way out. I suspect that those of us that are not that heavy, that dense in the other dimensions are going to be able to ascend, and we're going to get away from the chaos that was always predicted. There's no way we're getting out of what's happening now, the confrontations, without there being total collapse and chaos. There's just no way. I wish there was. And I just think, as the Mayans said, as the dolphin said, as the Bible said, some of us will get lifted up. I never believed that story before, but it's what I sketch. And I do trust that I don't make this stuff up. My training is too severe, and besides which, what a waste of time. So this is how we look. Now, why such a big change? Am I that great? You know what? I'm really great. I have the power of induction, which means I can pull you up, and I have very strong intentions for people to be okay. I'm a Cancer. I want everybody to be okay. Even the bad guy, I want him to be okay to a certain extent. But I'm not exactly sure why it can be such a dramatic change, but this is consistent. But we've never looked this bad as we do today. But I think we're close to when they say on X, something is going to happen. I think we're right there. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow. And if not, you can come and see us, me, and the group, whoever that happens to be, in what you would call the dream state, which really means your spirit bodies. And you can come and join us, hold hands, get information. Because the physical body is the one that's like, we can trash it. And we literally do at the end of each lifetime. Anyway, I love you a lot. Okay?